Alright, welcome to another part of my World Cup preview series. Right now we're going to talk a bit about Paraguay. They're in Group F, together with Italy, Slovakia, and New Zealand. Their first game is against Italy. Paraguay has become a regular at the World Cup recently. They were there in 1998, and since then they've been there every time. 1998 they came out of a tough group with Spain and Nigeria. And made it to the second round, lost 1-0 through a golden goal by Laurent Blanc against the host nation, France, that later on won the championship, of course. So that was a good first performance. In 2002, they also made it through this to the second round, losing against Spain, drawing against South Africa, and beating Slovenia. So a pretty easy group that was. So they made it before going out, and then last time around they didn't get out of the group phase. They did manage to beat Trinidad and Tobago, but before that they lost to Sweden and England, both 1-0. So they just missed out, but they've been a contender to reach the second round every time they've been at the World Cup. So looking at this group with newcomers Slovakia and New Zealand, you should expect Paraguay to at least grab second place, and who knows, they might be able to surprise Italy. Italy hasn't been too impressive in the preparation or anything, so who knows. Their first game is against Italy, and we'll wait to see what that's going to be like. Anyway, in the preparation, recently Paraguay's been doing reasonably well. They beat North Korea 1-0. They lost 2-1 to Ireland. They drew 2-2 against Ivory Coast, and they beat Greece 2-0. So they beat North Korea and Greece, drew against Ivory Coast. Loss against Ireland is unfortunate, but Ireland's not a bad team, so it's not a huge disaster. Paraguay did well in qualifying. They qualified as the third nation, right behind Chile and Brazil, easily ahead of Argentina and Uruguay. So they were solid. They beat Argentina 1-0 at home and Brazil 2-0 at home. And they've played well. They've conceded 16 goals, which is, next to Brazil, the least amount in the qualifying. So I suspect that defensively they're pretty solid. Looking at their defense and midfield, most of them play in Latin America. I'm not too familiar with most of those names, but they seem to be solid. I think the difference is in previous World Cups is that now they have more strength up front. They always had Roque Santa Cruz. He's still there. He's 28 now, playing for Manchester City. He's a good striker. And they also have Nelson Valdez, who was there already the last time around. But now they're backed up with Oscar Cardoso, who really had his breakthrough year with the Benfica this year. Scored a lot of goals. He might be moving on to a bigger team. Unfortunately, he's been injured lately, so He's just been declared fit. He might come on as a substitute against Inter, but he isn't fit enough to play a whole match. But they might be able to use him in the second or third group game. And also recently they've nationalized Lucas Barrios, who became a Paraguayan citizen. He's actually Argentine, but his mother is from Paraguay. So just before the World Cup, actually, in the preparation, he's turned into a Paraguayan player, and he scored 3 goals in 3 games for them, so he's been doing quite well, and he's been a good goal scorer for Borussia Dortmund past season. So I think that, with Santa Cruz, Cardoso, and Barrios, I think you got some good strikers, and that's really also looking at the World Cup so far. What a lot of teams seem to be lacking is good strikers. Looking at, for example, Slovenia and Algeria, that was the problem. Looking at Serbia and Ghana, that was the problem. And Paraguay really has, their best players are up front, and that's, I think, a good thing, especially when they're playing against teams like Slovakia and New Zealand. You should be able to create chances, and you've got good strikers. You can score goals and win games. So I'm thinking Paraguay could do quite well in this group. They should move on, and who knows, they might be able to surprise Italy, because they haven't been that convincing in the preparation either. But yeah, Paraguay, a solid team, one of the better teams in South America. And yeah, wouldn't be surprised if they make it to the last round. I mean, the round of 16. But I'll give you my final prediction on the games later. Anyway, that's it for my analysis of Paraguay. Thank you.